Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a few weeks since you saw me, and I want to explain to you what's been going on. But before I do that, I just want to thank everybody who helped make the launch of the Soul Portal a success. That was something I obsessed over for a very long time and was wondering how things would play out, and now the Soul Portals are scattered all over the planet. So thank you very much, you guys. I also am writing an article to release it with this video. It's pretty long. I'm not sure if it'll be done yet, but I think it will. That is in the description if you're interested. So the month of September has been really eventful for me. I had a lot of setbacks health-wise, and there were a lot of challenges. But I want to tell you how I use the Akashic Records to understand and overcome those challenges. So many of you know, a few years ago I was hospitalized, and it was really a real low point for me that I haven't gotten back to yet. At the beginning of the month, I started to kind of feel the same way though. So I had that moment of, uh-oh, what's going on here? Am I going down that path again? Am I breaking down? What could possibly be the reason for throwing this wrench in my gears now? So I started to feel really bad. I started to go into a very dark place that I had visited before, and this time it felt a little different. Last time I had just started my journey with the Akashic Records, but when I got sick the first time, my ability to become multidimensional just completely turned off. My emotional body was not available to me. I was pretty much cut out from all of those kinds of experiences that would have given me a better understanding of what I was going through. So this time, my ability to go multidimensional and to use the Akashic Records and to, download spiritual information and insight was still intact. So I had that with me while I was going through this. And it was still really hard, I'm not going to lie. My issues involve the gut, and as you may know, when the gut isn't feeling good, it's impossible to feel good about anything else. Anything you observe or experience is just irritating, and everything you view in reality is viewed through the lens of pain and suffering. So that has been my last 3 weeks, but it has actually been a productive 3 weeks in that I've gained a lot of understanding on how to use the records when we're facing adversity. I've gained a lot of understanding on how the Akashic Records are going to feed me information about the situation as I'm going through it. So I've developed a lot of things, and I understand a lot of things now, having been through the last 3 weeks, that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to otherwise. So trying to turn a negative into a positive, I now feel a lot better, and I understand the inner workings of the Akashic Records like I hadn't had before. So when I got to that place where everything was breaking down and everything was slipping out of my control, and I was basically forced to put everything on hold, I made it a point to pause myself and investigate what was going on. Okay, let's get to the root of this. Let's figure out what I need to shore up in order to avoid this kind of detour going forward. Because when I get in that state, I can't create content. I can't do readings for people. I could, but I would just be going through the motions, and there would be no substance behind anything that I was producing. So, I have to shut everything off, which is hard when, I'm the only working parent in a reality that is raising the bar constantly on how much you have to pay to exist here. So it's scary in that regard as well. Am I healthy enough to keep working? Can I provide for my family while recovering and getting myself back to a place where I can be productive? So in the beginning, I dug deep. if I'm going to go through this, I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to understand it and make sure that it doesn't happen again going forward. So what I did is I went into a multidimensional state, understanding, noticing that my emotional body was still available to me. I could still immerse myself in the Akashic records, and I could still ask questions and get answers back. So when I asked the Akashic records, what is happening to my body right now, and what is the source of this happening? What triggered it into being to begin with? And what the Akashic records did for me was that it played out in front of me a 5-year period of my life that was tremendously stressful and traumatizing. Literally like a movie, from point A to point B, when things started going wrong to when apparently there was some kind of shift or cap on that experience and things went a different direction. There was something there that was unprocessed. There was something there that was unaddressed. And I noticed when reviewing those visions that when I got to certain points in the visual, that the emotional body was stimulated, letting me know that there were things there that needed to be released or that were up for review and could be released and processed. So I did everything I could to study that period of time, to make sure that I was making peace with what happened there, forgiving all of the characters and figures involved who, people who were going through their own struggles and battles that, just kind of passively made an impact on me without, having any bad intentions toward me. But I noticed a pattern that in that 5-year period, I went from a confident, athletic, bright kid who had a lot of things to look forward to in front of him to a sad, defeated, emotionally distraught version that was sabotaging himself into failure over and over again, and doing that because we were now operating from a place of fear. So like I was a really good baseball player before all of this stuff happened, and it all came natural to me. I didn't think about it, I didn't feel it, I just went out there and played. When this series of events happened and my confidence and my self-worth was kind of crushed, I started to have a lot of fear, and that led to failure in all of those things that I was so innately good at before. So, there was a pattern of functioning in the lower chakras that were severely out of balance. And, when that's the case, usually what's going to be triggered within you are issues in the digestive tract, issues in the sexual organs, issues in imbalances being triggered that are going to cascade into failure and resistance. So I remember in those times before the baseball games would start, knowing that I wasn't the player that I used to be, knowing that my teammates and my coaches kind of expected me to be that same person. And I just remember the pit of fear and guilt and shame, all of that stuff being carried right there in the intestines. Went on for years and years and years that way, until we got to the point of no return, and there was going to be something within me that was triggered later on from that. So what I did is I investigated that time period thoroughly, like I said before, meticulously combing through it, looking for my emotional body to respond with information telling me that this is where the blockage is. This is what is still around that's compounding the issues that you're having today. So I asked the Akashic Records to find me the source, and it showed me that period of time that triggered everything that I'm experiencing today. I did my diligence. I used every bit of knowledge and awareness I have with Akashic Records processes to remove anything that was existing there that no longer was in service to me today or was no longer compatible with the healthy version of me that I'm looking and trying to be. So I'm now on the other side of that, feeling a lot better, feeling like myself again. Do I know that what I saw and experienced is going to make the difference this time? I don't know. I can hope. I can hope that the processes that I went through and the spiritual maturity that I have now was enough to free myself up from dipping down to that low again. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll have another episode like this in the future. Obviously, I can hope to avoid it. What I do know is that I feel blessed to have the understanding that I have. I feel blessed that I invested my time and energy into the Akashic records, and that the records are going to be there for me when I need them to be. The records are always going to be there to offer me insight on what I'm going through, which is, tremendously valuable, and it makes me positive and optimistic about the future, no matter what I'm going through. So moving forward, I have a lot that I want to share with you guys, and I'm hoping that making these portals allows me more time to do that. So, about maybe half of 1% of the information I get in the Akashic Records makes it onto video. I'm spending a lot of time doing sessions, which is great, which is a great job to have, but it doesn't leave a lot of time for YouTube. So I'm just hoping to have a little bit more time for that kind of thing. Because really what I love to do is get on camera and share wisdom and insight with you, with the goal of, giving you a better understanding of your own situation and what you're going through, maybe giving an idea or a perspective that makes the difference and helps you overcome whatever it is you're going through. I know that each and every one of us here has a very hard puzzle that we're trying to figure out. But you should know that there are guides working with you that understand what you're going through. They know who you are, they know your challenges, they know the reasons you've come. They've seen you overcome it before. And you should know that there are resources available to us now that just weren't there before. And I'm excited because even when I go through phases that are unpleasant and, seem like a kick in the butt, I'm going to come out on the other side of that more skilled, with a better understanding of who I am, what I'm doing here, and what my potential is. Anyway, thank you very much for hanging in there with me, guys. If you have any questions about the services that I offer or the Akashic Soul Portal, feel free to send me an email, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.